Okay, it's 10 o'clock. I will call the Harrison County Commission meeting to order. If you would rise and join me in the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not to temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is anyone signed up? Oh my God. Is there anyone on Zoom that wishes to speak publicly? Anyone on Zoom wish to speak publicly?
Yeah, give us just 1 second. There's some feedback. Is this computer muted?
Yeah, they're all muted.
Call to hear.
Sounds cool. I'll figure out where it's coming from. Speak for me.
Let's move on to number 2. Consent agenda. What's the pleasure? Motion to approve consent agenda. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried.
Anyone tell that?
Sam?
I just got a text that somebody's on there and there's no volume, there's no sound, just an FYI.
Wait a minute, what's
It's
the
getting
roof?
ready to sound like somebody's gonna ask it.
Yeah. Now on our back screen, they have a little like exclamation point or something like.
I apologize. Continue.
Okay. Number 3, payroll change notices. We have several, and a couple of these could go into executive session, if I'm reading this correctly. But what's the pleasure on the payroll change notices? Motion to approve payroll change notices. Any discussion?
Motion to go into executive session.
And the motion's been made to go into executive session. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Okay.
Okay.
Motion to approve payroll change notices.
Now we'd like to talk about the A. Who made this decision? Where's the money coming from?
The park board made this decision. It is coming out of their budget.
Which budget? They don't have any money.
They have their money that, from the levy for this new fiscal year.
They already have the money to cover the payroll.
And they also have to carry over from what they had from last year.
That's not their money to carry over. We haven't voted for that to be carried over to them
Well, they have their 900,000 from the levy.
in the bank.
We have not cut them a check for them to recut us a check. We are still working through that progress. We are trying to work with them for the split until the MOU is signed.
So who employee is it as of today when you give him this raise? Who's he work for?
I would imagine he'd be like the others and we'd be co-employers for the time being. We've processed.
So are other groups, community corrections, gonna give raises?
If they choose,
Just trying to understand how we ended up paying him this raise, which seems to match a job that was offered in this county, and now we're gonna be paying him more than most department heads. Just trying to understand.
Honestly, Commissioner Hinkle, to me, it is the park board's decision, since we have decided so sternly that we are going to be doing this split. They know how much they have in payroll availability, and they chose to make this decision. They did go along with our pay grade scale, but this ultimately is their decision. As I thought that this is the way we should be moving forward, because we wanted this split.
Did we sign an agreement to split?
We have not we have things in motion for that to happen. The agreement is still getting worked out. It takes time after having so many years of it being done one way. It can't be done overnight.
We've been working on this for 4 or 5 months. Again, it's Doug Comer, an employee of Harrison County.
On the
As
book,
we talked today to give him a raise. So yes or no answer.
yes,
Okay. So this commission is giving Doug Comer a raise. Why? Susan, Patsy, why are we giving him a raise? Because it's a sizable raise. I just want to know why this commission's giving him a raise.
Park board's the one that wants to give him a raise.
It doesn't work for the park board, it works for us. When the park board employs him, I don't care if they give him 100,000. He today, right this minute, is a person who belongs to the Harrison County Commission as an employee. Are we going to do this across the board for the rest of our people? That's my question.
I think you take it on a case by case issue.
So the rest of the people been brought up to be looked at for a raise?
no, sir.
So he's been singled out to get this raise because Parks and Rec said so?
The Park and Rec Board submitted this payroll change notice. This is what they have agreed upon at their meeting. I was not present at that meeting.
Do we have a copy of that?
We have a copy of the payroll change notice.
No, ma'am. I asked if we have a copy where the board said to give him this money.
I have an email that I can have printed out.
Do we have a representative here that was at the park meeting? Represents the county at park meetings? Who's our rep?
I am David.
Did the park board recommend this?
Yes, sir.
Why?
There was a motion on the floor and passed
The motion for what?
to give him a raise.
No reason?
I can get the minutes for you.
I don't understand why we're giving a raise based on another organization. That's just pretty crazy. So I guess we're just gonna open it up to whoever wants to come in and ask for pay raises, they can ask for pay raises. Because they don't have them, it doesn't work for them, it works for us.
But we are following the guidelines as if we are split, like we started this process last year. I believe it was July of last year that you brought it up that we have been handling this wrong the entire time. So we have been moving forward to try to do this split. And so we can't pick and choose when we're following the split and when we can't.
Mr. Zimmerman, who does Doug Comer work for?
He's a co-employee. Your questions really go to the levy orders and the levy calls. And right now, we're in the gray area because we're under the new levy order, but the money has not come in yet from called the levy assessment.
Has Parks and Board signed an agreement accepting all our past employees to become their employees?
No, sir, they have not. Parks and Rec, I was at the meeting, they retained Andy McLund to review the memorandum agreement and to make recommendations. That's what their board wanted to do.
And that will be on the next agenda item. the next meeting for an agenda item.
So at this point, they have not accepted our employees, and these people are still our employees, correct?
At this point, they are still dual employees, which is similar to what the case law in West Virginia is for those people in the sheriff's office and other public agencies. They're joint. And even after the memorandum is accepted, they're still going to be joint. It's just the process is going to change in terms of how the money is controlled. Historically, the commission has controlled their budget. The process here is to give them more autonomy on an operational and spending basis.
We're gonna make the decisions for their $900,000 from this point on,
No, we're gonna give them total.
right?
It's
autonomy.
gonna come into the commission, then it will go over to Parks and Rec. They will have a separate tax ID number, separate bank account.
Yeah.
And they will have that money, will be a pass-through vehicle.
So why do we have to do Doug Comer today before we have all the agreements in place and Parks and Rec has taken on the responsibility? Can somebody answer that question?
So the way I take this, Commissioner, is Parks and Rec.
I'm asking Pat, he's the one that represents us on board.
Okay.
What are you asking me, David?
Why we're doing this today and it's until Parks and Rec actually takes over and runs their own operations. Why are we giving a pay raise out of county's funds? Because this is coming out of our funds for the park, not theirs. So I'm asking why we're doing that instead of using the balance of this money to use for our parks going forward.
To be honest with you, David, I believe the Park and Recreation has followed your lead, that they are separate from us now and that they are to run their ship as you've directed them to do and thought they should be doing, have been doing all along. And there was a motion on the floor, as I stated, it passed and went through, and that's why we're here today doing what we're doing. I understand exactly what you're saying. I also understand exactly what you've wanted to do for a year now, and I believe we're inching our way to do that.
So again,
Everything.
until you guys split up and we become separate entities, why is this commission spending their money to give Doug Comer money? We're not using Parks and Rec's money from the new levy. Why are we using our money to give him a raise?
I can't answer that to you, other than that there was a motion on the floor and it passed unanimously. And as all things, as the county attorney stated, we are the pass-through.
But do they have the money passed through the raise?
Within the levy, they do, sir.
Today, they can give that money to pay all their employees today.
As of July 1st, yes, sir, they will have $900,000 annually for the next 5 years.
Annually, if it's not in a checking account today.
I can't answer that, I'm sorry.
Well, on A, my motion is until Parks and Rec takes over their own finances, and they can do whatever they want for pay raises, but I think it's an awful lot to ask the county to give pay raises out of our funds.
I'm sure it's a situation with the county administrator to make sure that we are reimbursed, no different than we have reimbursed them for any mistake that we've made in the past year when we've spent levy money where we shouldn't have. I assure you that that money will come out of the levy. Laura is not going to just,
We're singling out one employee out of how many employees?
No, you're singling out one employee. This could very easily move on, but you are singling this out. And basically, the way the code reads, my understanding through all this, this is the way it should be done. Yes, things are set up differently. They should have never been done like this. Now we're trying, you want it fixed, you want to change it. But now when somebody wants a raise, you don't want to do it.
I could care less if they give him $100,000.
We'll get our money
once they
back, like
take over.
Patsy said.
How do I know that? We have
I'm
an
not going to
agreement?
sit here and argue.
I
with
know
you.
that because I have all the faith in the world that Laura is not going to give our money away unnecessarily.
Okay, we have David's motion.
To table until
Oh, now
the
it's. to table.
operations are separated.
That wasn't your first motion.
Well, my first
But you're
motion was to go
amending
into executive session.
Well, that wasn't your second motion. But this is your amended first motion, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
The table till we go in, till they take over all payroll.
okay, we have a motion for 3A to table until they take over, till the Parks and Recreation takes over. All in favor, any more discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
No.
No. Okay, we'll go back to the initial. Again, motion for number 3 for approval of all payroll changes.
I'd like to go into executive session for item C.
That's already been voted. Oh, you want to go into executive session for item 6?
Yes,
Is that a
ma'am.
motion?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
I don't think you can individualize this. We've already made it, vote that we don't have to go in executive session considering the
It's listed for each item, Patsy.
number. It's one item.
okay, well, that's just the motion to go into executive.
I'd like to do them individually just because there's 3A, 3.
Okay, can we do,
And 3G,
can we take them in order?
just take them in order. That way we have a clear record. If anybody have questions.
Okay, what's the pleasure on 3B?
Motion approved.
Motion to approve 3B. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay, 3C.
Going to executive session.
Motion to go into executive session. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
No.
Motion is approved. But
To discuss dismissal.
Okay, what's
Please
your,
have the Laura explain to us exactly how this went. This has been going on for 3 to 4 weeks. So I'd like a complete breakdown on how we got here. And who did the investigation and who did all the things that are involved.
It's a personnel issue.
I think that's something you could have found out prior to now if you would have, and I think you know some of it.
you asked us to go into executive session, Mr. Attorney.
The general practice we take is we don't discuss personnel issues when we have an exemption.
We've never done that until this past 2 years. Now everything is now on the floor. Over the past 2 years, we have encouraged people not to go in executive session. However, today we've decided we want to. The hypocrisy in this room has been for 2 years, but I'll go ahead and make the motion again that we do go in executive session because I see your concern on your face, Madam
Well,
President.
can we clarify, we're gonna go in for C for executive session and G
G.
for executive session.
Okay.
Thank you for the reasons stated on the agenda.
All right,
And,
motion.
and I'd also like to point out, Patsy, over the years, we've gone into a lot of it.
No,
You know what? We don't need, we're not keeping score here.
He is.
I'm stopping. The motion has been made to go into executive session
We don't have to. If you guys
to
wanna talk
consider
about it in
matters
public.
arising from the appointment, employment, retirement, promotion, transfer, demotion, disciplining, resignation, discharge, dismissal, or compensation of a public officer or employee. All in favor signify by saying aye.
All right.
All right. Is this employee available?